And we're live. Hello, and welcome back to the Business Octopus live stream where we talk about all things, sales, marketing, technology. How you going, Amanda? What's going on for you?
Look, I want to talk about something today, Avon, that I'm a bit fired up about. I'm excited. Are you ready?
Yeah, go. Hit me.
Let me pose it to you as a question. Do you believe in competition?
Yes and no.
Ooh, okay. So let me preface this because Avon will tell you his side of this story. I don't believe in competition. If you're in business, there's no such thing as competition. Yes, you will come at me and you will say, I have all these competitors. However, if you believe you have competition, you are doing something fundamentally wrong, which is what we're going to dig into. That said, Avon, let's hear your hot take. Tell me about the competition you do believe in. Tell me about that.
Well, I guess it depends like the level you're at. So if you're Coles or Woolworths, you really only have two or three other competitors. But if you're I guess on the small scale, you can have other competitors, for example, going for a bid or a tender, but that they're only competitors in that moment. For the broad spectrum of things, they're in your marketplace. They do what you do. They have the same challenges and problems. You may not want to share all of the information with them. Like Google and Microsoft are competitors in the truest sense of the word. There's no way that Microsoft could buy Google, because then there would just be it would be illegal, because then you'd have a monopoly, and there are rules to block that. So in those circumstances, yes. However, we were talking earlier about people that feel like they should be competitors banding together to create a new market or to improve the market for everybody. For example, farmers get together and they make an ad for Australian lamb or avocados or eggs or whatever it is, just to try and boost people buying that thing, because it doesn't matter whether this one farmer is going to get that job or another farmer is going to get that job. Everybody wins as a whole.
Absolutely. So instead of us fighting over this pocket of the market, let's make the pie bigger for everybody. So there's more at the table for everybody. Absolutely. Like, great idea. So instead of worrying about the guy down the road, the farm down the road, what can we do differently to get a better result for everybody?
I think, you should think of co-opetition or competition as you're at the pub with a friend and there's like a game thing, those big like punching bag things, and you whack it. For the moment that you put the money in and see who gets the highest score, that's the competition. But for the most part, they're there in the marketplace and you're there in the marketplace, and you have to interact with each other, because it's silly that you don't, because there's information that can be shared. Obviously don't give everything away. You've got to be a little bit withheld with some things, but the information that you get from other people can be amazing. Like, I had a conversation with someone the other day, and there's a client that's going to be leaving them, and they're like, oh, hey, I said, hey, full disclosure, this person came to me and they had a discussion, and then he gave me extra information. He's like, oh, wow, let me tell you the backstory. And he gave me all this extra information, which makes me kind of question whether I want to work with that person or not. But at that same token, like, it's just information. Even if I kind of go into that relationship anyway, I'm going in with my eyes wide open. I'm aware of problems that are going to come up in future.
Absolutely. And Avon, I guess for the viewers at home, how did you go from viewing other partners, shall we say, as competition to being able to go, okay, I can see the opportunity. I can see how I can leverage these relationships again to get a better outcome for everyone. What did you need to do, like, in your thought process, or how you saw them?
Well, I think for what I do, the market's so big, and you've only got like 10 fingers to be able to type with, and 2 ears and eyes. Like, you can't serve everybody, and even if I could, that would be a nightmare. So you actually want to work with these people, and that, particularly for what I do, there's strengths that I have to work with particular types of clients. There's strengths that others have to work with theirs. Like, generally, particular industries or whatever. So, I might prefer to work with this 2 or 3, and somebody else prefers to work with that 2 or 3, because they're familiar with them. So I'd much rather talk to them and say, hey, I've got this client, do you want them? And then that comes back the other way, and someone goes, oh yeah, do you want help? I can give you some assistance or answer a question. Or sometimes we talk about challenges and problems that we're having with a third party. Like, I do software, implementation. And so me and the other partners all have the same problems with the same supplier of the software. So we go, oh, I spoke to this person and they said this, what did you hear? And that sort of background network of information can be valuable as well for all parties involved.
Absolutely. So coming back to your Google Microsoft example, let's say we both play in the same field. You're the Google, I'm the Microsoft. How do we play nicely, for want of better phrasing? How do we set each other up to win? Is it about educating each other on what our strengths are? Is that an important part of that process, do you feel, as well?
Yeah, but like, because it's just that it comes back around. So like, if I did something positive or I helped you with a client that you had that was an issue, then that might come back the other way. It's on a bit of an individual basis. But like, say for example, it's a big market thing at the moment that nobody can ignore is AI. So if I say, here's how Microsoft interacts with AI, and then you could say, this is how Google interacts with AI, then we learn something from each other. And that sharing of information about this third-party thing, maybe it's like Trump tariffs, or maybe it's, some other thing that neither of us can control, that neither of us are competing on, but by discussing it, we're giving our perspectives, we're giving our understanding, and how that can help each other. So it doesn't have to always be about a customer, and you're not fighting over a dollar on the ground. All right. So, hi, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
That's hey, Bobby Bob. Isn't that a cartoon?
I feel like it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't place it, but it's there. Minutia of my mind.
The kids went and saw it. It's got something to do with walruses. Anyway. Okay. So what's your thoughts on Coopetition?
Yeah, so agree with everything you just said. It's one of those things where you've got to, I think, being able to identify what the strengths of your Coopetition are, so that I know, for me, I know in my marketplace, the pond I swim in, I know what their strengths are. So I know who I can go to if I have a challenge, or if I have a referral, or if someone needs something urgently and, we don't have the capacity, I know I could go to these people because I know what their strengths are. I've either worked with them before, or I understand who they've worked with previously, and they got great results for them. So I think that's a big part of it as well, understanding where they shine, what their capacity is like. And I really love that idea of the cross-pollination. So being able to, for example, if we use a particular piece of software, which we do, so we use Trainual, for example, and I hang out with other Trainual partners and we share ideas. If something's not working, like you said, you can kind of band together and either problem solve it or approach as a team and go, hey, how do we solve for this? So it's there's a lot of layers of how it benefits you. And I guess one thing I do want to say is, when I'm chatting to other business owners, we tend to, and Avon, tell me if this has ever been true for you, we will look at what other people are doing on social media or online, say on LinkedIn, and feel threatened by that because you think, oh, they've got more followers than me, or maybe they've got more likes or more comments. Have a look at, okay, if they're doing a great job, what is it that differentiates me from them, and what can I double down on? So making sure that we're really clear on what our point of difference is, because when we have clarity around that there can't be any competition.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, another thing could be, like, maybe in the future that person could end up being a business partner. Like, what one way to exit is to buy out your competition, or like in the IT industry, there's a huge amount of roll-ups, which is a bigger one eating a smaller one. getting big enough, being more attractive to another one that's even bigger, and then they buy them out. And then there's always somebody else starting. It's a very sort of, I guess, circular life cycle where, at some point you're going to want to retire. You're going to want to leave the industry. And so one of the ways to do that is to sell. But who's going to buy you? Probably someone who's in your lane, that understands what you do, that gets your business and can actually deliver on the thing that you've built. If you build some bespoke thing that nobody understands, in 10, 20 years time, when you want to exit, then there's no one. Like, you're actually better to understand the competition and have them understand you, so that at some point you go, this would actually be a good move. What if we partner? What if we, went and did something even bigger together? That's often more exciting.
Absolutely. And now, I guess, so, okay, team, viewers at home, we have you really excited about viewing your competition a little bit differently. What are the red flags, Avon? Before we go diving in head first and getting, really excited about collaborating with our competition, what do we do to make sure we don't get burned in the process?
It's like building any relationship, like trust with a little, then, or try with a little, then so slowly build that over time. Because, if you unlock the doors straight away and they go, oh, I'll take that client, and that client, then, obviously that's not a good thing. Some things you have to keep behind the curtain, like, maybe instead of saying future things, you might say past things. So I've done this, I've done that, and I'm thinking in this area, like, just be a little bit standoffish with the information that you provide. Because if you go, oh, I found this thing where you can do that, and then they go in, and particularly if it's a resource that there's only one of, or, very few number, that they might go in and grab something before, whilst you're trying to move towards that strategic advantage. And that's the other thing is, maybe you don't share your strategic advantage so much, or, you let them discover things as they're happening. So, like, if you put something online, that's when they find out about this. They don't find out the 12 months before, whilst you're planning and building. And then they go, oh crap, that happened. So they don't have a chance to catch up. So you can be friendly without being so friendly that you're laying all your cards on the table and saying, this is where we're at. It just, corporate espionage is a thing. There have been people caught and jailed because they were selling secrets to the other side, which might be the new iPhone plans, or the, whatever's coming out in the next release. Like, these are things that in big markets, the competition are very eager to find out. But in a small business, like, I run a small service business, I really only can serve, a couple of dozen clients at any one time. I'm not dealing with, tens of thousands or millions of people in a purchase decision.
Exactly. So all of those things really important to bear in mind. Now, Avon, before we sign off, what's one thought we want to leave the viewers at home with?
Information is valuable. It doesn't matter where it comes from, and your competition are in the same location as you. Things are very lonely at the top. So go and talk to other people that are going through what you're going through. You'll be surprised at how helpful it is in general, rather than just thinking that these people are your competition and they're going to take your clients from you. Not the case.
Exactly. And team, remember to double down on what your zone of genius is, what makes you unique, because your clients will see that and the right people will find you and you're away.
Yeah. Well, that's been a good show for today. Stay classy. We'll see you next time.